My first consulting gig is a pretty crazy story. A woman had gone through a seminar that I ran, and her husband was the general manager of a poultry processing plant. The chicken processing plant was having problems, and she recommended to her husband that he hire me. So I met this man, and neither one of us really knew why we were talking. But the story he told me was very interesting, and that is they had been producing about 80,000 chickens a week. And they had bought all this new equipment and this new processing line, high tech, that was supposed to be able to produce 220,000. And the most they'd ever been able to do was 118. He had had every kind of engineer in, you can imagine. And he said no one could get them any further. And when he told his wife this, she suggested me. I told him I have no experience with meat processing. I know nothing about your business. And after a while, we decided maybe that was a good thing. Strange, but good. So anyway, what we settled on was, I said, let me just take a day and look at it, and then I'll tell you whether I think I can help at all or not. And since it was my first one, I didn't even charge anything. So what I did was, I went through the chicken processing plant, and I said, I'm gonna go through as though I'm a chicken. In other words, coming in on a truck, live chicken, and out the other end of the facility, they're frozen breasts and legs. So I went through the entire process, and I interviewed the workers as well as the managers. What I found was that there were common problems that anybody could see. For example, chickens are on what they call knuckles, and they run in an overhead system like this, where people do the things they need to do to prepare the meat. One of them was this little woman. She couldn't have been 5 feet tall, and she had what looked like a big paring knife, and she had to cut parts of the chicken, and it's on this conveyor system above her head. Because she was so short, she was standing on like a little box that was about the size of a milk crate. And so I stopped and I started talking to her, and she said it was the worst job you could imagine because everything was wrong. And I'm like, what kinds of things are wrong? She gave me the knife, and she said, try to cut the next chicken as it comes by. This is what you have to do. And I couldn't do it. Have you ever tried to cut poultry even on a countertop? It's hard. The problem was what? She was too short for that, and the knife was dull. So why was the knife dull? Because procurement gets measured on saving money. So anyway, I went through, I found 100 things like this. And I gave him my report, and I said, here's the things I saw. I don't think I'm the guy. I ended up doing just a little bit more work, but he actually ended up paying me, which was my first consulting gig. So I was very happy. But as I look back on it, we both did everything wrong in hiring a business consultant. First of all, he didn't know what he was looking for. He had defined the problem in terms of quantity and in terms of process output, but that's it. To hire a business consultant, you really need to figure out, what is the problem I'm trying to solve? Second one is what he did tell me. What have we tried? What worked and didn't work? And then from that, you're able to narrow down the scope. Now, he was just taking a shot in the dark with me. What he should have done was hired someone who's like a lean consultant or something like that can go through and figure out all the process points and where the choke points are in processes. But he didn't. He lucked out. We figured out some things, and they ended up producing more chickens than they had before. The second thing, he made the mistake of selecting me. In selecting the right business consultant, once you define the need, you have to say, okay, what are the capabilities and the expertise needed to solve this problem? There's a lot of qualified people. So once you get it down to, this is the kind of consultant I need, whether it's an attorney, whether it's a financial person, whether it's a process consultant, a business consultant, whatever that is, then you're really looking for compatibility. Compatibility in a number of ways. One is, what is the process that the consultant is going to use to gather information and to make changes? The second thing is, do those processes fit with my company's organization and culture? Do I want to work with them? The whole thing of, is there a personal compatibility, can be very important. The other thing I'd mention is, what's the assurance you're going to get that the problem will be solved? The last one is, of course, references. If you're in the chicken processing business, don't hire me. But if you're in a different kind of business and you have figured out what your problem is, you have some guidance now on how to go find the best consultant for you that can help you with your business.